Hey guys, Nico's Tech Throw, and today we'll be taking a look at Left 4 Dead 2 for Mac OS X. This was just released for the Mac, and of course it's been out for the PC and Xbox 360 for a while now. But I just want to see how it runs on my new MacBook Pro, and the specs are, it's a 17-inch MacBook Pro, new style, new model. It's got the i7, it's got 4 gigabytes of memory, and the nVidia GeForce 330M GT graphics card. Let's go ahead and take a look at the settings I'm running right now. I pretty much have it maxed out with the exception of Anti-Aliasing, which is okay because the resolution is 1920 by 1200, so you don't really need Anti-Aliasing at that resolution. It is nice, but it's probably going to kill my frame rate. We'll go ahead and run 4x for now and max this out completely. We're running 16x filtering. Shader details on very high. Effects details on high, which is the highest it goes. Model and texture detail high, which is the highest again. So let's go ahead and click done. And now we are going to be running the anti-aliasing. So we are completely maxed out at 1920 by 1200. I didn't enable vertical sync because in the very unlikely occasion that we do go over 60 frames per second, it will allow that. But as you can see on the top left, it's kind of struggling so far. So this, I believe, is the first level of the game. I've never played single player. I do have it for PC, but yeah, I always played with friends, so I'm not sure if this is the first level, and I'm also not sure why the sound isn't working. So there we go. And as you can see, the game is kind of struggling a bit. So let's go ahead and get rid of that anti-aliasing because that's the least needed option right now, at this resolution at least. So we'll go ahead and go in. I'm having some trouble getting in the settings. Let's go ahead and click done and get rid of that for now. And of course we'll try to get this to run as stable as possible. For I want to show you guys how this is going to run for people who are looking to get the new MacBook Pro i7. Now if you do get this 15-inch model or even a 13-inch MacBook Pro, rather let's stick with the 15-inch because the 13-inch has a different GPU, but yeah, if you rather CPU. If you do go with a 15-inch, you'll be able to run it a little better because it's lower resolution. So as you can see, there is some aliasing, and AA would definitely help, but yeah, it's not too terrible. You can see in the distance over there by the windows. And guys, please don't flame me telling me I suck at the game or anything like that. Like I said, I only played it with friends, and I wasn't too great at it to begin with, so. So as you can see, we're running at, I don't know, the FPS is going a little crazy. It's, I see in the first number, I'm mostly seeing a 2 and a 3, and a 4, and sometimes a 5, and a 1, so it's everywhere. But let's go and get some action on the screen so we can see exactly what's going on here. You guys got some fire effects. I wish I got a pistol for this. So it is playable, but I wouldn't say it's ideal, especially when the action's getting heavy. It probably isn't an ideal situation right now, so. Let's go ahead and turn something else down. But before we do that, let's go ahead and change the resolution so people with 15-inch MacBook Pros with the same configuration will see how it runs on their system. So we'll change it 1680 by 1050 first. That is the high-res option for 15-inch MacBook Pros. If you do get the high-res, you'll have 1680 by 1050 rather than 1440 by 900. So let's go ahead and lower that, and we'll see how it runs at that point. Alright, so of course it's going to look a little more fuzzy because it's not the native resolution of the monitor. I know if you, of course, you can't tell that because you're not looking at my monitor. But it does seem let's get off of that ledge. It does seem a tad bit smoother at this resolution, naturally, but probably still not ideal. I'd really like to see that 60 frames per second solid, or at least 30. So let's go ahead and take a look at 1440 by 900, which is standard 15-inch resolution. And that doesn't look like it's an option, so... oh, well, this is why it's not an option. It's not going to be an option again. For some reason, I can't select 16 by 9. So, I mean, this seems to be the closest to 1440 by 900, so we'll go ahead and choose that. Not quite sure why I can't choose 16 by 9, but it is a 16 by 10 monitor, but still. Alright, so here we are at 13 something by about 1,000. Kind of what you'll get on a 15-inch MacBook Pro. A little less so. It actually feels a lot smoother right now. The mouse is a lot more responsive. And you can see it's a little more of a solid frame rate. That was a bad idea. It's a little more of a solid frame rate, but you know. Yeah, at this point I would say it's definitely playable. The mouse is a lot more responsive. Still not ideal, of course, but definitely playable. Bam. Single player is pretty epic, isn't it? What was that? Alright, so back to the 17-inch resolution. Let's go back and see if we can get this to run semi-decent at 1920 by 1200. Let's go ahead and bring the shader detail to high and see how that works out. Again, your frames per second are going to vary depending on the environment, what's on screen, all that kind of stuff. Whoa, that's not what I want to do. Well, thanks, Nick, for healing me. And the sound is taking a little while to kick in for some reason after I change settings. So at this point, it's definitely it's still a little laggy on the mouse side. So I mean, like I said, it's still playable, but not it's not ideal, as you can see. But there goes the sound. Reload. What's this burning stuff? Oh man. Probably should have left the room. And I just cut Nick. There you go. Alright, so at this point the game isn't very playable. Or at least not ideally playable. So let's go ahead and turn something else down. And that sounds pretty terrible, so. Alright, what else can we do? We've got A is off. I guess we can lower some of this to medium, but I'd rather not do that. Let's go ahead and bring this to 8x. See if that helps. So the mouse does feel a bit more responsive, but it's kind of choppy still. So again, not too playable at this resolution, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and let's use recommended settings. So it's bringing the resolution all the way down to 1152 by 720, and it's bringing these down quite a bit as well. So let's go ahead and use recommended and see how it runs at that point. Now, you never know. We can see some newer drivers. This game was just released for the Mac, so you know we might see some drivers released in the future by Apple for the GPU to allow this game to run a bit better. I know Team Fortress 2, I believe, is having some frame rate issues, and an updated driver fixed that. So hopefully we'll see something in the future for that. Let's just wait until this changes settings. Alright, so now we're running the recommended settings, and as you can see, the frames per second, while it's still going crazy, it's certainly more green than it was. So, everything feels a lot better. Everything's really responsive the way it should be. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I mean, yeah, it is playable at this resolution, but at this point, I would just get on my PC and play it. To be honest, and my PC, sadly, is I think 4 years old this or next month. It's got a Q6600, 2 gigabytes of memory, and the only thing I upgraded was the graphics card, and I got a ATI 5850, and before that I had an 8800 GT. I just updated that in February, so I mean that. As old as it is, it still runs pretty much any game, anything I throw at it, with the exception of Crisis and some crazy games like that. But it's kind of annoying to spend. I know Macs aren't really for gaming, but it's kind of annoying to spend $2,500 on the laptop and not be able to run that Left 4 Dead 2, which runs on older PCs with no problem. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can recommend Left 4 Dead 2 unless you're willing to bring the graphic settings down quite a bit, as well as the resolution. Because at 1920 by 1200, it's definitely not playable. If you do have a 15-inch, it's definitely better. And you should be able to run it on medium settings with a 15-inch MacBook Pro. As you can see right now, I'm at 1920 by 1200, and the settings are kind of medium. We'll go ahead and make everything medium. One last effort. We'll disable this for now. And I don't know. Let's go old school, trilinear, and this will be our last attempt at playing this game at 1920 by 1200. So here we go. Everything's on medium. We're at trilinear filtering. It does feel a bit more. No, it really doesn't. It doesn't feel any better. It's very choppy for some reason. And of course I am running ScreenFlow, but that shouldn't have much of an effect on this. I am going to go ahead and try this without ScreenFlow running. I'm also going to start a new game just to make it a nice fresh start, and we'll do that together real quick. And after that, I will try, all these settings again without ScreenFlow, and I'll update you guys and let you know if that helped at all. Because while ScreenFlow is lightweight, it's still going to have an impact on the way the game is running. Alright, so right away we can see, even at trilinear filtering with medium settings, it's not going to run at 1920 by 1200. Yeah, it feels like crap. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and exit StreamFlow for now. I'm going to try all this again, and I will speak to you guys in a second. Well, in a second for you guys.